This meeting is being recorded.
Not be able to record the contents of your screen. Let's see if I can. I got some message about sharing my screen. Let me see if I can share it.
Okay.
I'd like to record this computer screen. Okay. For some reason, this computer may not allow screen sharing, but well, let's try and continue.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, screen recording, sorry, if I share my screen.
Okay.
Okay. Are you seeing this?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. I hope it's also recording. Okay, so this is the chapter that we're discussing this morning. Leadership competencies, and in specific, there's three main things that we're going to be looking at. For those who are taking notes, the three points are here: clarity of direction, intelligence and learning agility, and ability to manage time. So if you listen to anything and take away anything and write anything, that's the cheat sheet right there. The notes to give you the answer on the whole lesson right there. So there's 3 points that we'll be discussing, and these are points that are relatively intuitive, which means that most of us who have leadership experience understand these points. It's just a matter of deepening our understanding as time goes by and developing a better ability to do these in time. So, who can tell me what a competency is? That's the big word in this lesson. What is a competency? Can someone help me with that word? Is there a Swahili translation for competency?
I will say, yeah. So competence is being able to do something with the highest proficiency.
Is that John Carogo?
Yeah.
Well done.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Being able to do something. Let's just keep it simple. So a competency is being able to do something, but really, with a high degree of effectiveness. So when we're looking at being able to do leadership, these are 3 key areas that we should be looking at. The first one is clarity of direction. The second one is learning and intelligence. And the third one is ability to manage time. Okay, so the notes here says that competencies are specific areas of proficiency that influences one's style of leadership. Even though most scholars tend to interchange the term competencies and skills, for this particular module, we're going to define skills as abilities that support one's overall competency. So competency may be a bit higher than skills, and it could probably include several different types of skills within a few competencies. But those are all just English words, and they're kind of advanced things that you don't really need to worry about. The main point is focusing on these 3 ideas here: clarity of direction, intelligence and learning agility, and ability to manage time. So the first one we look at is clarity of direction. I'm going to skip down here because I think this is the important part of the lesson. So clarity of direction really is about, I mean, clarity of direction really begins with who you are. And from there, it extends into where you want to go. So clarity of direction, in order to know where you want to go, first of all, it's very important to know who you are, know where you are, know what you want. And if you have clarity in yourself, you're able to take that out of you into the world. And when we talk about clarity of direction for leaders, this means things like what you want to do, where you want to do it, how it would be done, why they were doing it, or why you are doing it, who would do it, and when it would be done. There's six words here that are based on some basic words in the English language that are commonly used to answer questions. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. Those are kind of like the six classic question words. Who, where, what, why, when, and how. So they all start kind of with the same sound, but they encompass kind of the full understanding of answering a question. And the question here is really what is your leadership? What is it that you're trying to do? How are you going to do it? Why are you doing it? Who will do it with you? When will it be done? Where are you going to do it? When you have that clarity in yourself, the reason it's powerful to have clarity is because when you have clarity, you're able to communicate. And that's the important thing from a leadership perspective, is that in order to communicate and to connect with other people, you have to first know what it is that you are talking about. As a leader, what is your vision? What is it you want to do? As a leader, who is it that you're going to do it with? How are you going to, get it done? All of these are questions that people are going to ask you the minute you begin opening your mouth as a leader, right? And in order for you to appear competent, you have to be able to articulate all of these different aspects about what you believe is possible in your leadership, so that other people can understand and accept and move with you. If you don't have all of this understanding of what it is that you're trying to tell people, then how are they going to believe you? How are they going to get interested in you? So really, all of this is the clarity of direction is really like your manifesto, you could say. It's really the thing that makes you different than other people. It's what makes you different than other leaders. If you're campaigning or you're trying to convince people to vote for you, this is what makes you different than another candidate. And the more you're able to articulate all of these different things, the more people will feel like you have, really a valuable platform or campaign that they should be participating in. So I'm sure all of you are familiar with those 6 words, but these words put it a bit into action. Who, what, where, when, why, how. And we've heard those words in, English classes, but put them into your leadership journey, right? Put them in the context of your vision as a leader, and try to answer all of them so that you have a deep understanding of what it is when someone asks you, who are you? What is your vision? What is your leadership all about? You have an ability to say something which is concise, clear, and powerful. If you just begin mumbling and rotating around and, you're not able to convince anyone, then your leadership is really not effective at all. You're not going to convince anyone you're a leader. So really, leadership begins with clarity of direction. It starts with you, and it starts with knowing where you want to go and being able to communicate that with others in these 6 ways: who, where, what, when, why, how. Okay, the second portion that we're going to talk about is learning ability, right? Because when you begin your journey of leadership, we know that no journey is just a straight line. You know that when you start out going somewhere, you always have adjustments to make on the way. Joram quoted me as saying, there is no wrong way, even if it's a long way, right? As long as you continue the journey till its end. When you get to the end, you'll say, I've arrived home, right? Sometimes it takes a long time. It takes a longer time than you think when you begin the journey. But everyone's journey is unique. And we all go through different challenges along the way. The most important thing is that you continue the journey and you make all of the necessary adjustments as you go, so that you arrive in the end where you needed to be. And to me, one of the most important things that allows you to continue the journey in your leadership is learning, the ability to learn as you go, because we don't know everything. No one can pretend that they have all the knowledge. Even when you begin a journey, you may just have hope or faith or belief that you'll figure it out as you go. And that confidence is good, but unless you're willing to learn as you go, you won't pick up the things you need to continue with the journey. So as you go on this leadership journey, you need to be able to, there's 3 things here: to learn, to unlearn, and to relearn. And these are kind of 3 different ways of looking at the same thing. But the reason it's said in 3 different ways is because it helps you appreciate that learning is it's not an easy thing that you just pick up a book and you read and you know, right? Sometimes you really have to challenge your own biases. You have to challenge what you knew before. Sometimes you have to change your mind in ways that is uncomfortable. And learning is never easy, but you have to be able to come at it from different ways in order to make breakthroughs in your leadership journey. I think that all of you probably understand what it means to learn, right? When you maybe let's say you want to you're going along and you want to propose some change that needs to happen at the university, right? Let's just use the university context. When you're proposing a change, you have to maybe know what is it that was there. So you might have to actually learn what are the policies that are in place. You may not know all of the policies that exist at the university. And so you may need to learn as a foundation, what is there that I need to know in order to address a certain issue. So learning is really about just absorbing and adding on information, things that you don't know, which you need to know in order to do a task. Other things that you can learn are things like Zoom, learning online. A few years ago, many people didn't have any experience getting on a computer to attend a meeting on Zoom. And we all had to learn how to use this technology. So that's an example of information, example of technology. Even right now, we're learning skills. This is an example of skills that you need to learn in order to step up your leadership effectiveness. Now, the second one is more complicated because this one involves some degree of discomfort in ourselves and also a degree of self-awareness. This is the ability to unlearn. Who can give me, who can define this one for me? What does it mean to unlearn? And why is that something valuable? And maybe what's an example of having to unlearn something? I see Sarah Ipimilo is smiling.
Yes,
Could you give
and
me
then,
an answer?
yes, and learn. I see the different from learning, to stop learning or learn yourself from other people's experience. So you take yours even though there is other people learn through have a negative impact, but you don't want to learn it through them. You go on your own way.
Okay. Yeah, unlearning kind of suggests that we have to change maybe what we know. I can give you maybe an example is in my own leadership journey, when I was young, I felt like in order to be effective at the office, I needed to work very fast and I needed to be very task oriented so that I could do many things and I could do them very well and in a very focused way. And that, I think that habit was actually kind of easy for me and my personality. And so I learned how to be very effective and to be very task oriented and to really deliver big projects that I was working on in a very timely way. So I became a very task oriented person. But as time went by and I kept getting feedback from people in my office, we do these leadership assessment surveys and people kept saying that I'm too busy and that I should take some time to slow down and to greet people and to not be so task oriented. And at first I didn't like that idea because to me it sounded like someone is not performing or someone who just is wasting time. But I've realized over time that by me being so task-oriented, it can actually reduce the effectiveness of my connection with other people. And they may not enjoy working with me simply because one thing I learned very well. So I had to unlearn being task-oriented and you know, pull apart that side of myself and then relearn how to be a bit more people-oriented and take things a bit slower and create time to connect with people, not just doing things, but learning how to be with people to do things together. So these aspects of unlearning and relearning, it all kind of comes from, you know, years of a leadership journey that you go on. There are things in the beginning that you have to learn in order to be effective, but at a certain point in time, those things can actually begin hurting you if you're too focused on them and you're not focused on something else. And so you may need to unlearn some of the things that you learned in order to change and to create more space in the time that you have to do things a bit differently. And then for me, when I had to relearn kind of a new competency of being a bit more people-oriented in my work, you know, I felt like I was, you know, it's a bit of an uncomfortable space for me. I don't feel like I'm as good at it as other people. I felt like I was very weak in that area, and I didn't want to show people my weakness. And I felt a bit awkward when I was, you know, trying some new skills. But over time, you pick up and you learn those new skills, those people skills that you need. And it just takes a bit of humility and a commitment to, you know, continue learning so that you continue moving on your journey. If I didn't go through that process of kind of realizing how I can be more effective, I may not have continued on my journey the way that I have. So all of you have different skills, and this one that I just told you is unique to me, but I'm sure that you have your own ways that you're good and you're just, you know, really confident in those skills, yet you receive feedback from other people that, you know, you could adjust in this way or the other way. And so I'm sure each of you know in some ways the things that you want to learn that even require unlearning some old habits that you have developed. So if you want to take time in your own personal time for reflection, there's some reflections here that you can go through. What is it you feel inclined to enhance? Meaning maybe this one is about maybe what is it that you feel like you need to learn in order to continue your leadership journey? What are my greatest leadership capabilities? What are the things that I know that I do really well? And then what are my greatest leadership needs? And this one requires some humility. What are the things that I know that I need to improve on in order to continue my journey and to be more effective? So those are some reflections. You can just kind of write the questions in your notes, and then when you get time, come back to those and go through them on your own. The third one that we're going to talk about is time management. So now that you have a good idea of the clarity of the direction you're going, now that you have a good ability to adapt and continue the journey as you go and change and grow, the other thing that's important for a leader is to apply all of this to your life. so that you're effective with every day that you have, with every hour that you have, with every week, with every year. Time is one of these kind of philosophical things that we say, but has many deep meanings to it. This thing here says that time is nothing more than a way of measuring our lives. Time cannot be created, it can only be reallocated. Spending more time on one activity means spending less on another. When people talk about time, you can think of, okay, time, there's morning, there's afternoon, there's day, there's night. Time, okay, maybe we rotate around the sun, that's 1 year. But for leaders, time is the ability we have to do something meaningful, right? And when you spend time on one thing, it means you can't spend time on another thing. When you spend time on sleeping, it means you can't spend time on working. When you spend time on browsing the internet and Facebook and social media, it means you cannot spend time on connecting with people in meetings or writing emails or making phone calls with people. Every decision that we make as a leader costs time. Everything that we do as a human being costs time. It's one thing which you can't buy it. You can't apologize and say, sorry, I wasted time, let me get it back. There's no one to apologize for wasting time. When you waste time, it's gone. There's no second chance. So in some ways, it's time is our life, right? Every minute that passes is a minute of life that is gone. And so it's very important for leaders to take time very seriously and to learn how to manage your time well. Because the only thing that's going to distinguish you from your competitor as a leader is how you use the 24 hours you have compared to them, right? If you're campaigning against another leader for a specific position, you have 24 hours, right? How do you use that 24 hours compared to the other person using their 24 hours? The way that you manage your time will determine the output of all your investment. Everything that you work on really comes down to how are you spending your time and turning it into reality. Strictly speaking, it is impossible for a leader to manage time. Time just exists, right? What one can do is manage oneself. So time is just there. It's a clock. It's always going. The way that you interact with time is by self-management. It's by you taking control of your life. It's by you making proactive decisions about how to use your time. It's about you managing your mental health so that you use your time effectively and you're sharp. It's about you managing your relationships so that you don't exist in a chaotic environment, but you exist in a supportive environment so that you can use the time you have productively instead of chaotically. All right, good time management simply means deciding what you want to get out of life and efficiently pursuing these goals. Time management does not mean staying busy all the time. It means using your time the way you want to use it. So like I said earlier, one of my leadership challenges was I was always too busy and people felt like they couldn't connect with me as a leader. And I had to learn that good time management even is about creating time to take it slow and be with people and connect with people and be more friendly and relatable. So time management is not just about doing as fast as you can. It's about knowing how to do things so that you get what you want in the end. It's about achieving your goals, knowing what you want to get out of life and effectively pursuing your goals. Time management is an endless series of decisions, small decisions, large decisions that eventually change the shape of your life. Even something like, the time you decide to wake up in the morning, that's a time management decision. What you decide to eat in the day is a time management decision, because some things you can eat make you feel tired in the afternoon, and you can't manage your time as effectively because you're tired, right? So time management is not just about doing things, but it's the whole lifestyle that you live, and creating a life that pursues the goals that you have. Okay, let's move through here a bit more quickly. Because I do want to give you some practical examples of time management. Why is time management important? It's important because time is limited. We discussed that. Nobody can give you more time. We all get the same time. All of those you're competing against have the same time. Every other human being, rich or poor, has the same time. So that makes time important. Time is important because you can accomplish more with less effort. When you become better at managing time, you're able to flow easier through the tasks that you do and not worry about things so much. So you can actually accomplish more in the same 1 hour than someone else. Time management improves your decision making. Time management can reduce stress. If you manage time really well, you don't live as chaotic of a life, and you can actually be less stressed because you know that you're just going through the things that you need to do, and there's time to do the other things that you're worrying about. Time management improves self-discipline. All right. There's a bit of a worksheet here that can give you an assessment of how well you manage your time. I don't think we have time. We don't have time to go through this whole thing, but maybe Joram can share some of these tools with you. So it's kind of a self-assessment that you can do to understand how effective you are in time management, and has to do with some of your thinking patterns and things like that. All right. I'm going to skip through these things because I do want to show you a sample of the way that I manage my time. Okay, I'm going to pause this right here. And so I'm going to give you a sample of a way that I effectively manage my time. So this is called a communication matrix. And in my job, I do a self-assessment of all of the different groups of people that I need to spend time with, all the different areas of responsibility that I have, and the different people I need to connect with in those different areas of responsibility. So all of you have different audiences, I believe. An audience is really like a group of people that you intend to influence. So when you're looking at how you want to spend your time, you have to think about who are the different groups that are competing for my time. Who are the different groups that need me to be with them? Who are the different groups that I want to influence? So in my work, there's several different types of groups. One group is our senior leadership team. One group is our country leadership teams. One group is our regional coordinators. Another group is all of our staff members as an organization. Another group is all of our beneficiaries. Another group is our donors. Another group is our stakeholders. So these are all different groups that exist in my ecosystem as a leader. And I know that I have to engage with all these different groups in a different way. Some of them I have to meet very frequently. Some of them I just have to send a report, and I don't even need to talk to them face to face. Some of them I need to spend quality time with them. Some of them I have to meet maybe once in a year. So this is a chart that is helpful, and you can do this kind of just on your own piece of paper to visualize all the different groups that you need to connect with, who are your audiences in different ways as you go through your day-to-day, week-to-week leadership. So all of these audiences, like I said, have different ways that I connect with them. So I take that illustration and then I put it into the form of a matrix. A matrix is a way of organizing information in columns and rows that helps to organize maybe something that you're thinking about. And so this is called a communication matrix. So it begins with the different audiences that I have. These ones up here, you guys may not really understand because they're kind of organizational in nature, but you could probably understand better our organization's staff. And it's different than our organization's beneficiaries, which is different than our organization's partners or stakeholders, which is different than our organization's donors. And all of those groups have different ways that I need to connect with them regularly. So these ones up here are different individuals within our organization. So the senior leadership team up here, this is an audience. And I know that every month I meet with them for 2 hours, once in a month. Okay. That's how I manage the time to connect with this group, the senior leadership team. I know I don't need to meet with them every day. And I know if I meet with them only once a year, it's too little. But to meet every month, we sit together for a longer period of time, 2 hours, and we review the agenda of the month ahead. We discuss what happened in the previous month, and we look forward to the month ahead. That's 2 hours once a month. And that's always on my calendar. Already for every month of the year, that meeting is on my calendar. The next thing is a group called country leadership teams. And I know that every week we have a Zoom call where all of the country leadership teams come together for 1 hour on Monday afternoon. And we all sit together and we talk about the week ahead. So this is a very different group of people than those who are on our senior leadership team. And that 1 hour is kind of a time where we all give general updates about maybe like the security situation in each country, the operational situation in each country, the programs that are being run in each country. Then I also know that I need to meet each country leadership team in different periods during the month. So the Rwanda team I meet with once a week for 1 hour. The Burundi team I meet with once a month for 1 hour. The Tanzanian team I meet with 3 times a month for 1 hour. Kenya team I meet with once a month for 1 hour. And this is kind of a deeper, more personal connection with each of these teams to really understand if there's any issues they need my help with. Another group is our regional coordinators, and I have time commitments to them, usually on Thursdays and Fridays. The country leadership teams, I meet with them on Wednesdays. So Wednesdays are with that group. Thursdays and Fridays are with this group. All right, so that's internally. Externally, outside of my office, I also know that I need to connect with all of the different staff in our organization. So I don't directly work with Joram. Joram works in a different department, and he has kind of his own team that he works with. But I know that it's important for me as a leader to have a relationship with Joram, right? So aside from my specific duties, I know that part of my role as a leader is to have time for all of the staff in Cornerstone, that all the staff get a chance occasionally to know me. And so that's why I attend our staff fellowship, right? And I do that every week, every Monday for 2 hours. That's why I travel and participate in our Kigali staff fellowship in Rwanda. I try to do that at least twice a year. And also in Arusha, that's why I try to travel periodically to be with the staff there, just so that I have relationships with them. So those things go on my calendar. I know that every year I have to at least be in these different places this number of times. I also connect with our beneficiaries. These are the students in our schools, and even you guys on this call in some ways are connected to beneficiaries of some of the programs that we run. So I know that this line here is more connected to the schools that we run. So I try to teach discipleship in one school every month. All right, and I know it's on my calendar, whether it's in Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, South Sudan, at least a month cannot pass when I have not been in a school teaching our discipleship curriculum. And so what that does is it allows me to be known by the beneficiaries of our work. I'm sure Joram can tell you that when he was a student, at some point, he saw me come and teach a class in discipleship, right? And that's where the relationship with him started.
That's very true. You used to come to Arusha.
So there's a certain kind of connection a leader has when they connect with beneficiaries, which is different than when they connect with staff and coworkers. There's also partners and stakeholders. At least once in a month, I go to one of our partners and try to get some time to understand their work and understand how we can work together better. And I put that on the calendar every month. I know that as a month is passing, I know, okay, in the month ahead, I want to check on this group. I want to get an update from them about what they're doing and how our work together is going. And finally, we have a section of donors. And this is a different group that has different needs. And so every week, I will look at our list of donors and make sure that I'm connecting in some way with a different donor, so that time doesn't go by and I haven't connected with them in a long time. So this is a way to kind of understand, when you talk about time management, what are the most important things that you need to be spending time on? Who are the most important people? Who are the most important groups that you need to think about when you're thinking of how you spend your time? Now, all of these things which I just discussed, all of these are meetings a leader has to engage with people, okay? And all of this takes up about 2 hours every day. So 2 hours every day in my leadership, I just spend, it's already predetermined. It was determined a month ago that we were going to meet with all these different groups, 2 hours every day. The rest of my day is spent doing tasks, administration, you know, following up on finance, following up on all kinds of different communication, responding to emails, responding on WhatsApp, just doing the rest of my job. But 2 hours every day is predetermined, and it's highly strategic with different groups that need my time and that need me to connect with them as a leader. So that's just a very quick introduction to the way that I manage my time. And of course, all of this goes into a calendar. And so it's very important for you as a leader to keep a very good calendar so that you know what's coming up. You know when you're scheduling activities, you know when different deadlines are, you know what the tasks that need to be completed are. All right. All of these things kind of touch on different things that I talked about. So I'm just going to stop there and summarize the point of this lesson. We talked about some basic competencies of leadership, and in specific, we talked about having clarity about your direction, what it is you want to do, and where you're going. We talked about who, what, where, when, why, how. You have to be able to articulate that as a leader. We talked about the value of learning, unlearning, and relearning, so that on the journey as you go, you're able to continue effectively and not just stop and stagnate. And finally, we talked about the ability to manage time, which is also managing your life, which is basically the opportunity you have to put into reality the things that you believe in day to day. I know that was a lot, and I know it was brief, but thank you for letting me share with you this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Dr. Eric Kreutter, for such a presentation, loaded, full of information, and also you clarified very well. I would love to recognize and also open the floor for people to ask questions and comment. In our meeting today, Diana Copeland has joined us from Germany. We have Rachel Harry. She has joined us from Liberia. And we have Angela Nanyaro. She's our LLF friend. She has joined us from India. She's doing her Doctor of Medicine from there. And also we have Gatete from Uganda. And also we have other colleagues like Victoria, who has also joined us. She's working with an accountancy firm. So thank you very much, Dr. Eric, for such a presentation. And I would love to repeat some of the statements you have said about time. You can't really buy time. You can't get it back. And nobody can give you more time. And this makes time very, very important. So without wasting time, I would love to open up the floor. And before I open up the floor, I also noticed I went through your social media account, and I was very much impressed. You announced to your friends that I'm going to go off for social media engagement. And I would love to know, I may guess the reasons, but I would love to hear it from you. What motivated you to go off and not to engage on social media? I will be very happy to know the reason why you disappeared just like that. And then I will welcome Diana to ask a question or to give a comment. You're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, for me, as a young leader, I felt like it depends on what you're trying to influence. So as a young leader, I felt like I needed to be popular. I needed to influence the world. I wanted everyone to hear my message. And it takes time to maintain a social media account, all right? With time, I took on more responsibilities with my organization. And my organization is also like a small social media world. Like, I'm constantly connecting internally with people in the organization. And over time, it just made much more sense for me to focus my time on influencing internally rather than externally, because of the key relationships that I was trying to influence. So for me, the organizational relationships were real people that I knew, real tasks that I was working on, and I'm very involved in operations, and it's just a very time-consuming thing, and you have to balance the time that you do have. I also had a young family at that time, and I understood that by having a social media account and spending time maintaining it, I was also taking away time from my young family. And for the past 8 years, I've had very young kids that are very time consuming. They keep you up at night. You have to be with them all the time, and you really have to invest in them deeply. I do feel like as I get older, I do feel like there is a place where at some point I may re-engage with social media when I have a bit more time, where I don't feel like I'm stealing my time from my children, and maybe when I feel like I have a bit more of my own kind of unique perspectives to share to the space. So yeah, for me, the past few years have been a very internal time where I'm focusing on my family and focusing on just performing at my job. And I felt like in terms of priority, social media was low. It's very different for different people's leadership. Other people's leadership is more about public policy and activism and being kind of on a platform of broader influence. And so for them, it's really, it's more suitable for them. But for me, being in operations in an organization, it wasn't as suitable for my own leadership needs.
Thank you very much, Dr. Eric, for answering that question. And also, I would love to recognize the presence of Mr. Sanya Samuel. Mr. Sanya Samuel, we are working together with him. He is my brother, and we have started to work with him for a long period of time. So we know each other better. And I would love to, I will invite him later to summarize. But before Mr. Sam comes in, let me invite John.
Jora, my battery is low.
Oh, you want to go first?
Just request to say.
Okay, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay.
First of all, I want to appreciate so much Brother Eric, my friend that I've known for a very long time. And I would say that part of my growth process has been because of his mentorship process with me as well. So thank you very much for speaking to us this afternoon. Joram, thank you for this platform, to meeting all these young leaders. And just one takeaway from Eric's sharing. For me, it's all about purpose. Every visionary leader must have a purpose as their compass direction. So without purpose, every visionary leader, I think they are going into somewhere that they don't know. And so if you merge that with the aspect of time, we don't have time because you have to really work hard. and such that you achieve the purpose as to why God has brought you here on earth. But again, he challenged us, unlearning, the concept of unlearning. For me, my take home is unlearning seems to be like coming out of your comfort zone. You know, there are some of us who are very comfortable and knowing that we know it all. Some of us have masters, we have degrees, we have certificates here and there. We have done research here and there. But when you listen to Dr. Eric, there is an aspect of being flexible to learn new things. And so my take home is trying to adjust according to the current needs of our society, current needs of our leaders, current needs of our families, and unlearn and become a solution to the current challenges that we are facing, such that we can become relevant to our leadership journey. Yeah, because of time, I want just to appreciate all of you. Thank you for showing up, and God bless you so much, because other people have to speak. I know that some of you are going to come for the annual retreat, Family of Friends here in Arusha, and so Joram has given you that invitation. Karibuni sana, tunawapenda sana, Mungu awabariki. Asanteni sana.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sam. And those of us who will go to Arusha, so far we have 23 ALF members who have registered to go, and those ones we will meet Mr. Sam in Arusha. But also, talking about learning, I was also impressed by Dr. Eric that he started to learn Swahili. I don't know how far he has gone. Maybe he will greet us with some Swahili words if he can make sentences. Maybe we'll speak about that later. Ndugu John Karago, you're most welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Joram, for the welcoming and for setting this platform. Thank you, Mr. Eric, for your presentation. It was very, very interesting, and I've learned a lot. My question to you is, when you are explaining about your personal leadership journey in your organization, there's a point when you said you're mostly task oriented, and people are complaining that you are not didn't have time to connect with them. So, and then you say you had to unlearn some of the things. You had to learn new things, how you had to learn people's skills. So my question is, what can you tell us, what are some of those people's skills that were so critical at that point for you to learn, and how did you learn them in the process? Thank you.
Asante sana, John.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, all of these things are they're very complex and they're very personal. And so everybody is really on their own journey, and you really have to, you have to learn by being open to feedback. You have to learn by observing the best practices of others who you respect or admire. And you learn through, just getting tips from different books that you read or different kind of articles that you read. So I can't say that I'm great in this area. And it's also challenging because many people want my time. Many people want me to be friendly with them. Many people want, to get to know me. And I have to choose, really who it is that I'm committing to, that I can invest in. And, it'd be very easy for me just to, be a much more social person and just be hanging out with everybody all of the time. But I wouldn't get anything done. So really my commitment is to the 15 or 20 people that I work with the most, that I am, constantly with the most, just to be better about taking things a bit slow with them, be better about understanding kind of what's going on in their families, asking them questions about, how their week is going, understanding, anything about their spouse or their kids, and also just understanding any challenges they have at work that are maybe underlying some of their performance issues.
Thank you very much, Daktari. And also, Duncan Esau, you're welcome. Hello, Duncan. If Diana, you are ready, you're welcome. Okay, Duncan.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, it's a great honor to be here. Thank you so much. Shall I speak or not?
Yeah, continue, then Duncan will come later.
I apologize. In 2019, I was in Uganda. So Eric, my name is Diana. I'm from Germany. In 2019, visited Uganda and I met your father on a leadership forum. And since this moment, I have the crazy idea that we have to bring Africa and Europe together. So we founded in 2019 the African European Young Leaders Initiative. And now I have the privilege to write my master thesis about it, have some amazing interviews. I'm so glad. And I don't know, I even feel connected to you, even though you never met me. Just by knowing your father, being part of this, knowing the African Young Leadership Forum and knowing you, Ramo, I feel very much connected. I think it's because of this family of friends we are all in. So this is just my introduction. And the question would be, after I really want to thank you for these insights, I took so much from it. My question is, it's similar to what has been asked before, the task orientation and the relationship orientation, because I myself, I'm half German, half Slovak. Working together with Europeans and Africans, I just noticed it's also coming back to culture. Some cultures love, to just focus on the task a lot, getting things done. Other cultures more focus on relations. And then through the relation, they build the project. So my question to you is, how do you deal with this element of culture as a leader? And how much value does it have for you? And how do you deal when you just, I think in your everyday life, you have it a lot, like cultures who really needs lots of relationship work. How do you manage this? I hope it was not too complicated.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And it's great to get to know you. Thank you.
Yeah, feel free to, Joram, you can share my contact information with anybody that wants it.
Okay.
Yeah, well, first of all,
Awesome.
I'm going to have to leave. So I also have some other, I have family that I have to be with on Sunday afternoon as well. So
Okay.
I'm going to get going, but my final comment will be about this question. In our community, we talk a lot about leadership, and I don't feel that we talk enough about management. And management is really the essential underbelly that gives leaders credibility in their leadership. So management it's a different distinction that all of you should take time to really understand. What is the difference between management and leadership? Now, a good manager is not always a good leader. A good manager is someone who really executes well. They're very good at running a machine. They're very good at doing things. A good manager does not necessarily make a good leader. But over time, a manager, if they have leadership skills, can become a great leader. And every great leader must first be a good manager. So a leader has to first be a manager, then a leader. So a leader encompasses both management skills and leadership skills, whereas a manager is just someone, who has management skills. And the task orientation is really a management skill. And if you become very good at your job and you become very effective, over time in your career, you have the choice of moving into leadership responsibilities. And those leadership responsibilities shift from that task orientation to a vision orientation and a people orientation. And they include the knowledge and skills from the management, but they take it a step further into vision and people. So that's very much my own journey. I was, I came up in the community, and for a long time was just part of the management machine, and I did a lot of kind of the behind the scenes work. But with time, as people respect you more, as you are faithful with the responsibility, they want you to be a more visible leader. They want you to take up more leadership in the community. And you have to change some of your skills and ways that you use your time in order to become an effective leader. And those involve creating space for vision casting and creating space for connecting with people more. But they're two different kind of orientations. A lot of time they kind of happen at different stages of your career. But I would encourage all of you who aspire to leadership is learn how to be a great manager first. You can't be a good leader without first knowing how to manage things, programs, people. You have to build on a foundation of management and then move into leadership. If you are just trying to be a leader without doing any kind of management, your head is in the clouds, and you don't have a expertise or a skill set that grounds you in real world activities. And that's really what management is about. So understand the difference between management and leadership. Maybe you can have a different topic about it, and understand how it's necessary to move through those stages and eventually become more effective in your career as you do. Thank you guys very much. I'm going to get going from here. You can continue the discussion.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Eric, for your time. We really appreciate. Hope this is not the end. We are going to send to you invitation to continue to engage us next time. I wish you happy Sunday.
Thank you very much, John. Okay.
For us, it is evening. Okay, thank you very much. So if you have a comment, something you would love to share, and my friend from Liberia, Rachel, if you have something to share, Angel from India, if you have something to share, and Brother Gatete from Uganda, feel free. The floor is yours. But thank you very much for sparing time and to connect and to be part of today's session. I really appreciate your time and your sacrifices. Once again, thank you very much, Diana. You have been very consistent since we started this series. You're always around. And also, for those who do not know, when I went to Germany, Diana was my very good host. She took me to Frankfurt Oder, and she organized for me a session at the Viadrina, the Europe University of Viadrina, if I have pronounced it well. And we had a very good time, intellectual conversation. It was a fantastic time. And also the fellowship we had in Berlin together with Diana. She introduced me to some of her friends. I was very much impressed with her generosity in times and everything. Thank you very much, Diana. I appreciate you very much. And thank you for being part of this wonderful family.
Thank you for having me. I also want to thank you so much for organizing this every single Sunday. And the funny thing is, like, maybe I can also do a small advertisement next Friday.
Okay.
We have you for the for the, I think you still remember it, we will have you for our community online gathering. So if there are also people here who are in touch with you and who also want to be part of this, and you will speak about servant leadership, please also feel free to join this meeting. And yeah, thank you really for organizing this, having me also here. It's really, really amazing to learn from you guys and also, you know, come up with questions or contributions. Thank you so much. And greetings from Frankfurt Oder to you.
Thank you very much. And say hi to Mr. Tom and Lydia, my good friends. I stayed with them and I learned so much from them. Send my greetings to them.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've left this church and I'm now in a church in Berlin. So this you unfortunately have to do alone because I don't see them now anymore. I'm now in the
Okay,
church,
no
in
problem.
another church in Berlin.
I have their contact. I will send to them a text.
Awesome.
Okay. Another one, mtu mwingine, if you have something you would love to say within these 3 minutes, we are going to end our session today. Kama una chochote kitu, you are most welcome. Na wale ambao they would love to join our WhatsApp group, I'm going to mention to you my number. You can record my WhatsApp number, send to me a text together with your picture, your introduction, and I will kindly join you to our group for updates and for future sessions. My number is 0, or you can begin with code 255 +255 757 46 48 74. If there is nothing more, Mr. Philemon,
Joram,
wherever you, hey.
I just wanted to say my final words. You know, I had to reconnect again because
Okay,
of issues.
Mr. Sam, karibu sana.
Yeah, sure. Ndugu wapendwa, I know that kuna mgeni wetu hapa kutoka Ujerumani. Inawezekana hatusikia Kiswahili. Jora, maybe I just have to keep in Swahili. I mean in English.
Okay, yeah, you can speak in English.
Yeah, I think that for me, my other take home is from what Eric shared with us is, as leaders, we need this thing, continuous improvement and adding value. Let me from the business perspective, for you to have a market value and a competitive advantage in the market area, your product must have a brand that makes it competitive. In the world of leadership, as we aspire to become leaders, if you want to really avail yourself to solve problems, critical issues in the community, it starts with you. Starts with you making sure that you are something that is not broken. A vessel that is broken cannot be used by God and cannot be used by people because it's broken. So we have to build ourselves. We need to build ourselves, our physical, mental, and someone have holistic growth. And so as we talk about leadership, don't forget about character, having a good character, practicing integrity, being faithful, being honest, being spiritual. All the things build up a leader. Yeah. So you guys, I just wanted to say those few things because I know that I was on and off, but we love you so much. Wish you all the best. Over to you, Joram.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sam. Mr. Sam is my good friend, my mentor, my advisor. We have worked together with him for more than 9 years. We know each other very, very well. We have traveled together to Mwanza, to Uganda, to Kenya. There is so much to share, yeah, with Mr. Sam. So we are still together. Ulumbi kila fahala. So my dear friends, as I'm summarizing and winding it up, these are the 4 pillars that we champion Africa Youth Leadership Forum: taking up responsibilities and demonstrating servant and transformational leadership. We do not have enough transformative and servant leaders in this part of the world. That's why you see there are a lot of challenges, corruption, conflict, and also unemployment and sort like unemployment. It's like a monster to the young people today. You graduate from the university, yet you can't find job, or you can't even employ yourself. So there is a leadership crisis in the business area for more than 50, 60 years, but we are still languishing in poverty. This is the area of leadership. You look at countries like Dubai, you will not believe it. You know, Dubai right now, they have created a national park, and they have lions, they have giraffe, they have all the animals mentioned here in Africa. But you will ask yourself, in a desert, how can lions and giraffe survive in a desert? Through the help of technology, Dubai, they are creating a Garden of Eden in the midst of a desert. This is because of leadership. So we want to raise an army of servant and transformational leaders who will live and transform Tanzania, within Tanzania and beyond. We also want to be recognized as people who champion godly character. We believe that God is the supreme leader. Everything begins with him and ends with him. Leaders who are accountable to God, they are also accountable to fellow men. We have seen people like Adolf Hitler. He had no touch with spirituality or God. As a result of that, he killed thousands and millions of Jews. 6 million Jews were slaughtered. We also want to be known as people who champion long-term committed relationship with each other. We want to continue being friends for 10 years from today, 20 years from today. And also we want to be recognized as people who champion unity, peace, and reconciliation. And when we come together like this, like-minded people, there is nothing that we can't do. I thank you very much for your time. I wish you the best. May God bless us all. And I would love to invite Aidati atufungie kwa sala. Aidati, you're welcome. Angela, can you wind up by a word of prayer? Good luck Masongwe. Naomba tufungie kwa sala, and we call it a day.
Okay. May we humble ourselves and pray. Oh Lord, we want to thank you for the time that we had this evening. Thank you for all that we have learned, and make us go through it and put into action. In the name of Jesus, I pray and believe. Amen.
Amen. I wish you all the best, leaders.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ulumbi kila pahala.
Ulumbi kila pahala.